Absolutely. Yeah, I think you could see where we're at in the table. I think we need to win 5 games to get in the playoffs. We have 7. There's been a lot of games that have been marred by a bit of controversy, but again, I think the things that we can control, set pieces, and putting ourselves in position to score goals, and putting ourselves in position to defend goals. And I think if we can do those things, we'll be in a good way. Because I think, from the start of the second half of the season, we've been in a good run of form, and these last 3 games kind of tripped us up a little bit. But we're getting everyone back. The training has been great in these last 3 weeks, so really optimistic and full of belief that we'll find our way into the playoffs.
Do you feel like the new additions, especially your 2 new strikers, are more connected to the team now?
I think so. I think so, and unfortunately, I think it's are they cemented as far as within the group? No. It's taken us 9 months, and we're still bringing some guys that were here since preseason. But I think because of their experience and their travels and their level of understanding of the game, I think they've adapted real quickly. And so again, the onus is on us to put them in positions to be dangerous, and that's what we've been working on the last 3 weeks. But I think they're in a really good way.
You love the psychological part of the game, and you hold yourself really responsible for preparing the team the right way. And obviously, coming out of Leagues Cup hasn't gone great the last couple of years, and they tweaked the format, but you still end up with a 3-week break. So have you tweaked what you're doing to get these guys psychologically ready to hit the ground minute number 1?
Yeah, the way I look at, especially the last few games, has been controlling the game, but losing the battle of moments, right? Whether there's set pieces, whether it's a defensive transition. But when you look at the overarching way we want to play, the guys are doing a great job, right? And so today we did a set piece game, and I'm a firm believer that when game time comes, you fall to the level of your training. You can't pump yourself up if you've trained without the amount of focus that it requires in a game. If you haven't done that during the week, there's no amount of pumping yourself up. There's no amount of magic and fairy dust that you can create to mimic that moment. But again, the guys today in that exercise didn't concede 1 goal. And one of the things that I'm always looking for is the communication when you're setting up. That's real. When there's urgency, it's through the communication. And today I saw it in spades. Both teams did a great job of keeping the ball out of the net. I think these 3 weeks have allowed us to really dive into these because again, for me, you can do a lot of things well for 89 minutes and still not win the game. So what is it going to take to get that? It's improve the urgency and the amount of discipline that we have in training to execute at the weekend.
A guy that just got hurt, is there anything serious? Did you get any early indication?
No, he's got a huge welt on his hand. He got stepped on. So the best thing, it's an appendage that he doesn't need to play soccer.
There you go. All right, I'm good. Jimmy?
So after this 3-week break, how did you strike the balance between maintaining match sharpness and preventing fatigue in training?
Well, to be fair, the only way to get match sharpness is to play matches, and unfortunately we haven't had the opportunity to do that, especially with players in and out with international break. But again, I think as I alluded to earlier, the quality of each session, the execution in each session has been top, and it's the only way we can mimic a game-like scenario. So every part of the session is an important part to be prepared without having played a game in 3 weeks. And so I think the guys have done that. And as far as how do you not get fatigue, is making sure that we as coaches make the exercises and the training sessions also enjoyable. If it's not something, if it's just a train, if there's not competition every single day, I think you lose sight of what this is all about. Soccer is always about competing the right way before anything else, and the guys have done a fantastic job of that.
My next question going along with that is, did you spend this break reinforcing tactical identity, or the focus lean more towards building fitness and recovery?
I think a little bit of everything. I think they all go hand in hand. You can't execute tactics if you're not fit. Tactics don't mean anything if you don't compete. So the game of football is everything, and that's why to your previous question, that's why the way we set up the training, the way we engage them with competition and making sure that every exercise has something on it is really important. So I'd say we've spent 3 weeks and we also worked on game state, how we're going to go into a shape if we're behind the lead, how we're going to hold on to a lead if we have it late, and there's been some really good understanding from the guys and some really good execution as well.
Speaking of that mentality on late games and stuff like that, in the last minutes, Kansas City is known for scoring in late times. What tactical changes did you make, or what do you enforce these weekends to prevent that on this Saturday?
Well, again, I think first is understanding the moment, right? And I think one of the things that I've been stressing is when in either state, right, and with the last 15 minutes, the game wants to pull your emotions into the game. And it's really important that we have very calm emotion, but very heightened awareness. So again, like the game against Minnesota where you start seeing shots from 40 yards, that's getting caught up in the emotional game. That's not heightened awareness, right? In other games where we've conceded late, it's the same type of thing. Now we're taking the emotion of we got to hold on to this, and we're holding on to it too tight, and we're not thinking clearly. So I think both game states give you the opportunity to be heightened awareness, but also be very stoic in the way you accept the game state. And I think that these last few weeks have given us the opportunity to do that.
And my last question is, in this Saturday, are we going to see a better team or just a sharper team of what we have seen in the past?
Both. Sharper and better.
Can you elaborate a little on that? Why would we be sharper and better?
Because we've trained sharper and the guys have been playing better.
I think everyone understands the importance now of this run-in of games that we've got. We've had 3 weeks without a game, but I think if you've been and watched any of our training sessions, you wouldn't think that. The intensity has been incredible, the commitment, the work rate. You know, it's always difficult when you're training and you don't have something to look forward to. But every single day, the competitiveness has been there, and I mean that's great to see for me, especially when you've got a young group. Sometimes you can see it in them where they kind of just go through the motions, but every single day has been working towards, you know, this week and this stretch of games. So we are hugely excited to get back out there, and yeah, we have to make sure that the hard work that we have put in over the last few weeks doesn't go to waste, because this is what we've been working towards.
Yeah. And you've been brought in spots to provide some goals, provide some assists, and I want to take it back. There was a home game before the break, and it was textbook Johnny Russell. You were getting ready to drive at your guy. Every defender was on their heels. Everybody knew who had the ball. And then you just hit it with the outside of your left foot, and you rolled a little ball to the top of the 18 for a teammate who didn't know what was coming and stopped his run. And it was there, it was teed up, and I think it's the kind of moment, so many players have joined the team and so many guys haven't played together, the guys they haven't been reading each other. Do you think these 3 weeks you've been able to maybe build some of that communication and body language, so when those moments come you take advantage of them as a team?
Yeah, we've been working on a lot of things, that we felt that we had to work on, a lot of things that we needed to work on, and that's just one of those things. The more time you spend with guys, the more time that obviously you're in the team, and guys get to know. Obviously, we all know each other from playing against each other, but it's different when you're on the team. You get to see different things, you get to feel different things. So I think that just comes with time and chemistry. And yeah, I mean, there's been instances like that, but it's not something that, you know, that I'm worried about. I've got every confidence in the team we've got, the attitude we've got, that we're going to come out in these last games flying.
You've faced Sporting before now, you've gone back and had that, so are most of those moments gone? Is it still a little special playing them?
No, it's still special. It still means a lot to me to play against them. I think going back there was probably a little bit more emotional. It was the first time I was back since I left, and obviously to get the reception that I did was incredible. There'll still be, you know, some of those emotions there, because it's somewhere that was home to me for so long, and you know, it's still the same guys. It's all my boys that are there. I still keep in contact with them, you know, on a regular basis. So, you know, all that's still there. But I mean, I said it before the first game. I'm a huge competitor. For 90 minutes, we're not boys, and they know that. I'm sure it'll be the same on their end, and yeah, it'll be good to catch up a little bit after the game, a little bit before it, but during those 90-95 minutes, whatever it takes, then my sole focus is on us winning the game here.
All right, thanks.
No problem.
I have a couple questions. Okay. First of all, thanks for your time.
No problem.
And so in this 3 week, how do you stay mentally and physically prepared?
We spoke a lot about, we're coming into such a pivotal part of the season where we've got no more time really that we can waste. We can't drop any more points. We know exactly what is expected of us, what we have to do coming into this last stretch of games. So that's been the motivation, that's been the mentality, and that's kept everyone on their toes. And like I said, the work that we've put in has been incredible over the last few weeks, and this is what you put the work in for the games. So I'm sure that, once that whistle comes at kick-off, then, we'll be flying.
Speaking of Saturday games and that whistle, you're familiar obviously with SKC. What do you think needs to click in the first 15 minutes to regain like RSL's cohesion again?
I think we have to just get back to what we do best. We have to control the ball, but it has to be with a purpose. You can't be just knocking the ball around for the sake of it. We're at our best when we put teams under pressure right off the bat. So that's going to be the sole focus. Obviously staying compact, not giving them any opportunity, any momentum, and yeah, just play our game, control the ball, and just relentless attack.
Is there extra motivation to make a statement as we return back to competitive in MLS?
I think you just want to win the games. People can, sort of make their own statements and their own conclusions from that, but our sole focus is on getting 3 points. We want to win every game that we play. It hasn't been good enough up until now, but we still have the opportunity to go out there and take it. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we're playing at home. Do you think with being your first home match in weeks, are you using the energy of the fans to like kind of stay focused and have the intensity from the first whistle?
Yeah, they've been great. I've seen it on both sides now. Been on the receiving end, and now that I'm here, I've seen the love from them as well. So they're going to be huge for us, and they've always been great. So we're excited to get back out there and put on a show for them, and most importantly, take out the 3 points.
And my last one: are we going to see a better version of RSL, or just a sharpened version of what we have seen before the break?
Hopefully both. If we can be sharpened and be better, then that's going to be huge for us, and it'll be really important to do that. And if we do that, then I'm sure coming into this stretch of games, and we're going to be a very difficult team to play against.
It's all about our habits and our tendencies in training. I think it'll be actually really easy from the first whistle on Saturday. I think the hard part was the 3 weeks without a game, making sure that we're showing up for training with the right intensity, with the right focus, with the right mentality. And I think as a squad, we did that really, really well. So now we have a challenge to look forward to this Saturday, which we didn't have the last 3 weeks. So I think once all of us step on the pitch on Saturday, we've been longing for a game. I think we'll be flying out of the gates and get a good result at home.
With that being said, with being your first home match in weeks, are you using that energy of the fans to sharpen focus and intensity?
Yeah, 100%. It's always we're at the crunch time in the season. 7 games left. I think we have 4 games at home, 4 or 5 games at home. But every single game is a must-win. Even the games at home are even a more must-win. So we'll use the energy of the crowd, like we always do, to come out from minute 1 and then all the way to, if we need to play 95, 97, however minutes we need to play, just go out, use the crowd, and win the match.
I will talk about mentality, and he's saying that he takes one game at a time. How are you, as one of the captains, taking this next stretch to make playoffs? Are you taking a game at a time, or are you crunching numbers, and how do you not dwell on that?
I think you take it one game at a time, but I think you can look at the overview of it, and you can know that, if you look at the standings right now, we all know that the fate's in our hands. Like, we have 2 games in hand. If we win those 2 games in hand, we're going to be in a playoff spot. So there's no excuses that we can make. We don't want to go to the end of the season with any regrets, and we know that it's in our hands to make it to the playoffs. So with that being said, then we take it one game at a time. So obviously there's 7 games left, but the first game, the first challenge, the first step to making the playoffs is Sporting KC. We win that game and then we focus on what the next game is after that. But that's all we can do right now.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Emeka, estas 3 semanas de parón ¿ha beneficiado o ha perjudicado al equipo? Porque estaba jugando bien.
Have these 3 weeks of stoppage benefited you guys, or has it played against you guys? Because you guys were playing well.
Yeah, I think it's benefited us. You know, obviously we have been playing well. We had a couple poor results on the last stretch of it. I think we had 2 losses. And whenever you have a long stretch without a game, it can be tough to motivate yourself. It can be tough to motivate the team. But I think what's so special about the squad that we have here is everyone wants to get better each day. And so, even though we had 3 weeks off without a game, we're still grinding every single day in each session. We're trying to get better in everything we do. So, the more time we have to train and get better, then the better we're going to come out on Saturday when the lights are on. So I think we got better in this time period.
Creo que nos ha beneficiado todo ese tiempo. Siempre y cuando hay un parón tan grande, obviamente eso te puede jugar en contra. Es cierto que tuvimos algunos resultados negativos antes de que empezara este parón, pero creo que algo especial que tiene este grupo es que siempre queremos mejorar y de cara a la última parte de esta temporada lo seguiremos haciendo para llegar a nuestra mejor posición posible.
¿En dónde te gustaría jugar mejor en media cancha? ¿Más de aspecto defensivo o más de aspecto ofensivo? Es decir, ¿y con qué compañero, digamos, sería el ideal para ti, para jugar donde te encuentras mejor? ¿Con quién te encuentras mejor?
Where in the midfield would you prefer to play? Is it more defensive, offensively, and who would you want to accompany you in that midfield?
Yeah, I think with the accompany part, I don't have a preference. I think all of the other midfielders are fantastic. I think Brian Ojeda's fantastic, Pablo's fantastic. Noel, when he plays there, he's also, fantastic. So anyone to play with, I think I lean a little bit towards a little bit more defensively, just because the last year I've kind of played as more of a holding 6. So it's kind of more trying to balance the game, cut out attacks and do things like that. But I know in the last game against Minnesota, I was kind of playing a little bit higher as like a box-to-box 8, which I think does really suit my skill set really well with how I can, drive with the ball and things like that. So maybe a little bit more defensively, but I think just trying to add more pieces to my game. I think I can play more attacking with the ball as a box-to-box. So it's just whatever the game calls for, whatever that specific moment calls for, try and add as many tools to my toolbox to know. So if I need to play defensively, I can do that. But if I need to go forward, I can also do that and create. So just, be working on that each training session and then working on that in the game as well.
En cuanto a quién me estaría acompañando en el mediocampo, yo puedo jugar con cualquiera, no tengo preferencia porque tenemos un nivel de jugadores y de compañeros que están muy bien y están en muy alto nivel. Y en cuanto a mi preferencia, quizás te diría más defensivo. Es cierto que suelo estar jugando más de 6, pero haré lo que el técnico pida de mí. Si es que necesito jugar más ofensivo, lo haré, pero si fuese por mi preferencia, quizás estoy más cómodo en una posición más defensiva.
La última cuestión, ¿qué esperas o qué te preocupa del Sporting Kansas para el sábado?
What do you think the SKC can threaten you guys for this week?
SKC they have very good attackers, I think, and they can really catch you on the counter very, very well. I think they give up a lot of goals, but I think they also score a lot of goals. So I think it's being smart to manage the game and really stop them on counterattacks, because I think if we keep a clean sheet on Saturday, we will win that game. I know that, because I know we will score goals against them. So I think just focus first defensively on keeping a clean sheet, and I know the attacking stuff will come from that as well.